And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Solar Expanse, in our Fission all the way run. Just a reminder, I've got sort of the house rules up here, as well as a reminder that we're in the background we're using the Solara soundtrack instead of the game's native soundtrack. At this point, we've already sold off all the. Let me actually get the pointer up. Sold off all the non-Fission ships. We're basically running Fission only. Which was the plan of the run. In the Mars system, we left off with me trying to get plenty of carbon at Mars, so I can build polymer a little more aggressively here. I am going to try to get Mars. One of the achievements is to get 5,000 people on Mars. So I want to get 5,000 people on Mars, and not just that, I want to get enough communication satellites so we can provide communication to all 5,000. That's one of the ways we're going to try to generate revenue here. So on Mars, that means got the carbon in orbit. So let's drop the carbon from orbit first, because that's easy to do. I'll drop right away. Over at Phobos, we had a delay in shipping some because we ran out of hydrogen. I can ship more up with the Pelican. Let's do that. Okay, it's gonna be a little fiddly to do. Phobos to Phobos orbit. Normally you can click and drag to move things, but orbits can be a little finicky to get things into. They're not spawned in. There's nothing up there. I'm trying not to move hydrogen. I'm here for carbon. We're here for hydrogen. Okay. 400 tons of hydrogen to orbit on the Pelican. It's gonna take me 3 days to get that into orbit. Go, it's in orbit. So is that cyclical mission gonna start back up again, or is it stopped? So we've got it in Mars. We now have hydrogen in Phobos, so it should start up again. Yes, it has started back again. Earth orbit to Jupiter orbit is completed. So Rain has arrived. Weren't you on a cyclical mission? Or is that a different one? Ah, you're the one I'm gonna send out to Lutetia. So yes, you are a different one. You are running hydrogen to Lutetia. I don't want that to take 6 years. Same time, I don't necessarily want to smash that button. I'm crank it down to 8, but that's means we're gonna get there with less hydrogen. Probably want somewhere in the middle. I want like a 12-year transit. Or 12-month transit. Oops. But still an impulse, please. Okay, something like that. And then bring the rest as fuel. So we get 400 to the destination that way. Okay, ship-wise, I have all the Hephaestai in transit, all of the Rains planned. The moon, in theory, has enough exotic. I could probably get another Rain under construction. So we'll have you do the proverbial milk run out to the moon. Earth is not the moon game. Okay, arrive at moon. So I can bring 50 tons of exotic back. I think that's all I need. We'll probably bring some glass and other stuff while we're doing this, right? You bring the stuff along from the ComSat, for example. Here we go. Ride the Pelican up. Fly over. Definitely need to get more people, I think, off of Earth. Okay, that's not this year, that's 2 years out as a transit coming in. Earth orbit. We're gonna build another array. And then the rest of the materials in orbit, if they can, should get turned into communication satellites. Well, the polymers, at least. There we go. Okay, so, Luna to Earth finished. Luna to Lutetia is finished, so we've got a Vesti Lutetia waiting for pickup. Earth orbit to Callisto is done. So you've arrived. Callisto, in this case, actually has enough housing, so you can immediately leave with the crew compartments on board. How goes the housing construction at Ganymede? Getting pretty close. In fact, technically there'll be enough as soon as the next one does finish. Close enough to enough when the next one finishes in 39 days. Okay. So let's actually do these empty crew compartments to Ganymede. Right in the Pelican. Do you want to bring the alloys to... Yes, I do want to bring the alloys as well. We'll leave those at Jupiter. And then here we should be continuing to build more metal. If I've got the power, and I do, build more metal lines. Trying to work down that 2 megatons of metal. It's not great mining, but it's there and it's abundant. Okay, we've arrived, and we're gonna wait for the 27 days. Get that housing unit complete. And then we'll take the 6 housing units, the 300 alloys, and the 300 polymers to Jupiter. Okay, 6 HAB modules. The 325 alloys, and we'll say 350 polymer. Already in transit. Yeah. Or do you want the alloys here? Use them to build another polymer maker. So yeah, actually do want the alloys here. Take the 25 alloys. Leave the 300. What's 200? Too late, we sent it already. Still getting one longer. And let's transfer the Jupiter. And then at Jupiter, I want these to go to Earth. Orbit. Best die. And then we fill up the rest of the cargo with hydrogen. Optimal transit. Actually, not far off. It's still a long trip. But Jupiter to Earth is not a great trip, after all. I suppose I technically have the stuff to set up another base. Oh, I forgot the... I should take the small ones back at some point. Oh, I could take the radioactives. Too late. And while I'm here, we got the stuff for a couple orbital gas extractors. Let's get those running. How goes the carbon transfer from Phobos to the Mars? Almost done? Probably at the point where I should cancel it. Let's dumpster that. There's the Prometheus in Earth, or in Phobos orbit. Go ahead and take the rest of that carbon to Mars. It was waiting for the thing to be full, but because it done a partial load because of the hydrogen running out, it actually had a partial load. Mars orbit now contains a bunch of carbon that we'd like on Mars. Okay, so Mars now has 8.9 kilotons of carbon, which is 100 years of carbon at its current rate. We're not going to use it for food, we're going to use it for making polymer, so that's going to turn down as I make more polymer. Yeah, right now I have one polymer maker. I think I'm going to crank that up to 10. Oh, that was a 10. In the meantime, we have items we'd like back in Earth orbit, right? We have the habitation modules. Prometheus is going to travel with these 4 empty modules back to Earth orbit. Again, we're past the optimum in the transit, but we're close enough to the optimum it still makes sense to leave in this window instead of the next window. So there we go. Orbit, the waiting room's got enough people in it. Okay, so we'll have them come drop by the waiting room, pick up people, return. Did I do that mission to Earth instead of Earth orbit? No, I did Earth orbit. Or Do Earth? Mars orbit, Earth orbit. Yeah, okay, so Wind Earth orbit. Good. I think we're waiting for missions to happen now. Actually, let some time pass. Metal and Callisto, more communication satellites at Earth. Down to negative 2,000. Real close to being funding positive. Not yet funding positive. To be fair, I'm building things, and those are going to run up the costs. Titan orbit to Jupiter orbit. Okay. Ah, so that was the rain coming in with the nitrogen terraforming gas. So the question is, do I want it to continue bringing it down the system, or do I want it to just run to Earth? Because the question really comes down to, do I want to try to do more terraforming on these bodies? Or do I want to do terraforming on Mars? Or do I want to do terraforming on Venus? Or not Venus, Mercury. We're not far off of habitability on Mercury. So there's an argument that if I can do the inertial support gas trick on Mercury, get it just enough terraformed that we can put crew there. Metals, rare metals, silicon, fissiles, apparently some tiny amount of water, but obviously we'd probably deliver food to Mercury rather than try to make it locally. Although, maybe we do make it locally, right? If it's got some water, 21 kilotons of water is probably enough to make a decent amount of food if we ship in some carbon. Yeah, I think I just sold myself on actually bringing the nitrogen the rest of the way down on the gravity well. If I'm doing, yeah, we're gonna bring that nitrogen down the gravity well. Do a stop over to Earth. Jupiter orbit to Earth orbit. Don't drop the nitrogen on Earth. Earth has enough nitrogen. Flying via the Arraign. It's still 2 years, 6 months down. We'll have basically two-thirds of the fuel tank full. So we should be, without very much change in the inventory, be able to finish the rest of the way down to Mercury. And I can always boost some oxygen off of Earth. From the electrolysis byproduct, we have a lot of oxygen on Earth. Okay. So we'll do that. I'll wait 2.5 years for that to happen, but we'll get it happening. Oh, and we have another rain at Earth orbit. What do I want you to do? Probably go up to Saturn again. Probably do what that last one did, which is go to Titan. Okay. Earth to Titan. You don't need to bring anything with you. In fact, we'd prefer if you don't bring anything with you, because you probably need to use some hydrogen to more aggressively burn to make a decent transit window. Because I don't really want you taking 6 years when you're empty to get someplace. So if we, say, give you 10 times the fuel, so you can go fast. Get there in under a year. Okay. Okay, communication satellites rolling out. I think we might almost be positive there. I've got enough exotics that if I go do another milk run to Luna, we can get another rain under construction. Prometheus to the moon. That is not the moon game. Luna to Earth. I'm gonna do 50 exotic alloys. We'll bring like 150 electronics along. Can you bring glass? So the glass or fissiles, I think. Yeah, let's fill the recipe with glass. Oh! I'm gonna need oxygen. Instead of boosting it off of Earth, I can boost it off of the moon. The moon's much easier to get it off of. That's what we'll do. So, we'll have some oxygen in Earth orbit for when the rain arrives. Earth orbit. Do I have enough for another rain? Alloys, check. Rare. Did I screw up and the moon shipment didn't bring what I thought it did? Hope we transferred that. Yeah, looks like it's left. I screwed up and I dumped it on Earth. I dumped it on Earth. That's how I screwed up. Jupiter orbit arrived at 2 Lutetia. Okay, so that brought the hydrogen in. Good to see. Got a Vesti and a rain here. What do I want bringing where? So the moon can always have more metal and more rare metal for making electronics and stuff. And alloys. And then Mars could do with more metal. Also needs more rare metal. Okay. I think we do a 50-50. So the moon needs less than Mars at the moment. So we'll do Lutetia not to Earth to the moon with the Vesti. Optimal transit. This isn't a particularly great window, but we'll roll with it. And then the rain is going to Mars. I'm just going to take only rare metals to Mars. It's tempting to take metal as well. And again, not a great window for Mars. But, well, slow about it. Okay, and I need to get those to orbit. Because I screwed up and put them in the wrong spot. I put them in the wrong spot. We'll leave the electronics on Earth. And I suppose I don't necessarily need that much oxygen. Yeah, let's put 600 oxygen. Yeah, we'll put 600 oxygen up. Or actually, what? I want to do... The rain's 2.5k, and I want to do about 20% of the rain. So 10% would be 250, so we have 500. 500, not 600. There we go. Now it's in orbit. So now I can then do build the rain. Or the fizzles. So I need a fizzle delivery, which I have. I have a fizzle delivery inbound. I have to wait until it arrives. Mars to Earth orbit done. Ganymede has all the housing it needs, so it'll actually have some population growth going forward. And in theory, Ganymede can support twice as many people. Okay. Can bring even more people to Ganymede. I have to build more housing to do that, but that's non-plausible. And that's because of the farming techs improving the food efficiency. That's also happening on Mars, right? We're getting more and more supplies being produced. How many people do I want to track to Mars right now? I have housing for 2,000 more people on Mars. Okay, so I can just take everyone. If the ships would support it, I don't think the ships will support it. I think that's a little bit more than previous. I can carry. We could transfer it. Everyone in Earth's waiting room to Mars. Yeah, because I'm gonna need some food to bring along as well. So I think that's enough for that many people. Yeah. Could try to go a little faster. Get them there quicker. Or just use less fuel. This is fine. We're 10 months out. We got enough food for 13, so at transit. More communication satellites finishing. Which reminds me to check Fission to Mars. Check the Martian build queue. Martian build queue is empty. I should build more things. So we should be making polymers much faster, although that's going to be expensive. We're going to go through the carbon faster. Water is still good. Water is still going to last for another 334 years before we empty that deposit, and we want to empty that deposit. Same sort of logic with the auction. Before we really get terraform, we want to get these two deposits empty. Although short term, I think the answer is more metal. More power than more metal. And then we had the Festi that dropped off metal 13 years. I want you to go back to Letitia to retrieve even more. Oh, I now have a rain coming in with it, so I think you don't need to go to Letitia. What do I want you to do then? Go to Earth? There is an argument to go to Earth. Although that really wants more polymer before I go to Earth. So that's a no. No, I think it's still Letitia. Go to Letitia. You might not be coming back here. I might have the rain doing the there and back again. Besides that, have you go out to... Jupiter. I might still have you drop by Letitia, but you might be doing the fuel run for Letitia going forward. You're leaving empty. I'd like you to go a little bit faster than that. Say 200 fast. Yeah, that gets her decent. Okay, so the almost positive. The satellites aren't going to do any more in Mars until we get more people in Mars. Although we're working on that. That may... No, still not. There's aeroponics, there's even more food. Now we're moving on to biological machines. The last one before we go do power techs. Which is really what we need to take advantage of Mercury. Earth orbit arrived at Titan. That is the rain arriving. What do I want you to retrieve? Nitrogen, probably. That's what we went to the trouble of boosting to orbit, right? Yeah. So take it to Saturn so that you can use the Saturn fuel reserve to descend. And I think you're going to actually take the trip to Mars. Because I think we're at the point where I'm going to want to start building up a big stockpile at Mars. We're going to need a lot of nitrogen. One ship at a time is going to be a bit slow. But one shovelful at a time, we will deliver nitrogen to Mars. Optimal transit, 3 years. Okay. Off you hop. Oh, Mars is done building. What do I want Mars building? Mars is starting to reach the point where I'm not going to have enough power. But yeah, I'm not going to have enough power to build the ground-based one if I keep building at the current rate. The workaround to that is I increase glass production so I can build glass faster. Or build the solar panels faster. Electronics. I'm thinking glass kilns, yes. Okay, let's see how well that works out. They don't all build at the same rate, so we're going to be sitting kind of a little bit in the middle there. Jupiter arrived at Earth. Mars orbit arrived at Jupiter. So we've got a Hephaestus there, and then we've got a Hephaestus there. So I think this was my one I wanted to bring hydrogen out to Letitia with. With 10 extra tons of hydrogen, we get there sooner. Yeah, because then we just don't delay. Okay. I think that's worth it. And then Earth. This Hephaestus probably wants to go somewhere, and I screwed up. I totally screwed up. You'll notice the fissiles are on Earth and not in Earth orbit where I need them. Yeah, that's a slight screw up. Okay, well, the Hephaestus is going back to Jupiter. No, it's just get more fissiles. In the meantime, I need like 200 in orbit, so I can just have a Pelican boost it. Yeah, we can just have a Pelican boost 200. And in 3 days, orbit now has what I need. Run of the Rain under construction. And the Prometheus can go check the moon, and we can get the stuff for a third one. Okay. Go for another here. So, the moon. I want you delivered to Earth orbit. Remember to deliver it to Earth orbit, not to Earth. It's always a problem to deliver to Earth, so then I have to get it off of Earth again. Take the electronics along. We'll take the 30 polymer along. That'll be enough to get another satellite going. Return trip. Then on Earth orbit, I can queue up another array. And then we have the polymers to do another communication satellite. There we go. And the revenue is actually running the wrong way because we're expanding expenses instead of decreasing expenses. Although, we got pretty close before we just got around to just building more stuff to get the expenses up. Okay, so on Mars, just tuned up glass production. I'm still got... Still can't... Oh, I'm out of alloys, so we can't do any more of that. What's power looking like? So I have just enough, as is, to power... the radioisotope, or the planetary manosphere generator. I don't have enough metal for it yet. But that's going to be the thing we're going to sort of balance off of. I'd like to keep enough power that we can build this, without having to do any power delivery. So I'm going to build 2 more solar panels, because we have the glass for that. And then I've got 7 surplus power. And... okay, so I can build 10 of these. In fact, I can technically build 14 of these. We'll build 14 of these. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we mine it faster and faster. We are reaching the end of this deposit, and it's going to slow down even more. Tisha arrived at Luna. That was another supply run of rare metals and metals. Those are going to boost missiles. We probably will actually boost the next batch of missiles off of the moon for the next array. And as we get more and more rains, I might start contemplating getting rid of other ships. They are more fuel efficient than every other ship. Well, the only thing they don't do well is they can't do planetary launches. So I may begin just replacing everything else. Well, that's a question. How much upkeep do you cost? I assume you have upkeep. It's not showing any upkeep. I believe the SC there stands for spaceships. So we're paying a total of 40 or 4.5 thousand for the spaceships. The spaceships aren't that expensive, although they are the entire negative melting balance of the motor. That's the cost. There's no maintenance mentioned there. Mass, cargo, propellant, thrust, exhaust velocity. Yeah, I'm not seeing any maintenance on it. Do I just pay maintenance for stuff that's flying? I might only pay stuff maintenance for what's flying. Oh, that doesn't make sense because I'm definitely paying maintenance for the Pelicans. They're my only launch vehicles. Yeah, I don't know how the math tracks on that. Does the tech tree give me a lowdown on how much the upkeep of those cost? I'm trying to figure out if it makes sense to go with a more fuel efficient option. Which really comes down to how much they cost. So, or how much does their upkeep cost? And I'm not seeing any indication that they obviously have an upkeep cost, but I'm apparently not seeing what the cost. Per ship. That's a good question. I don't know if they cost the same or if they cost different amounts. Can't answer that question right now. Not with the information I am provided in game. Another rain launched. How many rains am I up to now? So I've got 1 uncyclical mission, 3 actively traveling, a 4th scheduled, a 5th just built that hasn't been assigned a mission. So they're now the largest ship class I have. So right now I have cyclical. That cyclical is actually probably done. That was supposed to be a finite length one, so something's probably broken on that one. Metal is shipped. Callisto has its metals. Yeah, that cyclical should be cancelled. Okay. So yeah, I've got a cyclical for hydrogen from Jupiter to Earth. I think I want to do one from Jupiter to Mars, so I can start to spool down hydrogen production at Mars as well. Okay, I want to burn some fuel to go a little faster here, because we definitely missed the ideal launch window. 200 does it. Okay, then once we have it at Jupiter, we'll have it do optimal bounce back and forth between Mars orbit and Jupiter orbit. Okay, so on Mars, build 2 more power plants. Let's go, or 2 more solar plants. Let's get 2 more solar arrays going. And then we just finished 2. I screwed up my math and I don't have enough. Yeah, I'm like 6 more up than I expected. Okay. Let's screw up the math. Oh, the math hadn't updated from the previous ones that built. Okay. So we got not much space. Got like 8 more power I'm willing to spend. Okay. Well, that's 16 more mines. Let's get another 16 metal miners going. It's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I try to tune up metal faster and faster and faster and faster. I may contemplate, because at some point we're going to want to do the drop into Mercury and start mining Mercury. Theory, everything on Mercury I can actually mine with auto miners, so it might make sense to build some of those and ship them from, say, Mars to Mercury. No, Mars still has Azure, so yeah, that works out. I can lift the mining module, lift the probe, maybe even lift one of the construction modules or construction equipment to start taking stuff on Mercury. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Okay. Probably when we do go to Mercury, I probably want to drop there pretty heavy. So we'll start off building you out. 3 of those to start. I need to generate some alloys, but those are the mining modules popping. Okay. And what? We just said something right. That Jupiter arriving on Earth. Okay. That was my rain carrying the nitrogen, wasn't it? That was Earth orbits. Whatever it brought, it dumped in Earth orbit. So presumably wasn't the nitrogen, because I don't see any nitrogen here. It was probably just a hydrogen run. Oh no, that was the modules, the crew carrying capacity pack. Okay. Let's drop 4 of those and get them relaunched. With people on board. Which I suppose means I need to hire some people. Because I'm about to take 400 of them off the planet. Earth to Earth orbit. Crew compartments. Let's probably take a food while you go. You can complain there isn't enough. Yeah, it's not enough hydrogen. Okay, so I'm gonna have to drop some from orbit first. Which is fine, because all the ships that are showing up with full fuel tanks dump the leftover fuel in orbit. Let's dump 2,000 tons of fuel from orbit to Earth. So that I have it for launching. Did the hydrogen not land? Put us away from it. Apparently the hydrogen hadn't landed yet. There we go. I want to boost some of that radio access back to orbit. No, I won't bother for that for the moment. Okay. Earth orbit to Jupiter orbit. And a Vesta and a rain waiting. One of these was the one I was planning for a cyclical mission, so let's set that cyclical mission up. Jupiter orbit to Mars orbit. The rain. And it's First gotta be cyclical. A rain. From Jupiter. Add hydrogen. From Mars. Add nothing. Need no launch vehicles as an orbit. And this is a mission ends never on optimal transfers. The other ship what do I want you to grab? Fizzles, I think. Yeah, the Fizzles. Bring to Earth orbit. On the Hephaestus. Fill up the leftover space with water. We'll bring some water back. Optimal transit, full tank. We are leaving Jupiter after all. And then Earth orbit is also a bit of a parking lot at the moment. I've got multiple ships here waiting for destinations. So there's one of which is probably take people outwards. Okay. Rain, a festi. Oh, my nitrogen arrived. Yes. So one of these Arraign is taking the trip down to Mercury. That's what's going on. In fact, I'll have one of the Hephaestus make the trip down as well to bring hydrogen. So first, we get on Arraign. It's going to bring 500 tons of oxygen, 2,000 tons of nitrogen. This is the trip down to Mercury. So we're not going to wait for the optimal. At least spend 700 tons of fuel to do that. We'll go full fuel tank, and Mercury goes pretty fast, so we got to get very fast to catch up with it. Hypothetically, is a good way to think about it, right? So that's why I got to burn a bunch here. We're bringing a full load down, so that should work. We might actually have enough for them to get back to Earth. But we're going to send Hephaestus as well. You will be bringing hydrogen. Yeah, Earth orbit. I might not actually have enough hydrogen. That might be the next problem I'm running into here. No, that works. It's just defaulting to the electric circuit boards. Okay. Anyway, that works. That window works. That fuel complement. Okay. Now this Arraign, we're obviously in Earth orbit a little low on hydrogen. I'd like you to take a trip to Jupiter. Oops. 200-ish. Fastest, please. There you go. So now Earth is no longer a parking lot. Well, it's a parking lot for the moment because some of those are going to have to wait a bit for their transfers, but we got ships planning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Although that might not. One of these might be the trans. Am I up to? I'm all the way up. I might be able to go up to 8. Arraigns are running around at this point. We've got a lot of Arraigns. 1 Hephaestus, 2 Hephaestus, 3 Hephaestus. I've got a Hephaestus that's not doing anything. That's not it. Got one at Moon. I suppose the moon one works because I can use that to grab exotic alloys and bring them to Earth. Although, actually, the next ship I probably want to build is a Kronos from Earth Orbit's shipyard. Which is polymers. I need to get polymers to Earth. Okay. 200 tons of polymer. Which I could pick up at Mars. Okay. Not to Earth or to Earth. I want Earth orbit. This is stuff we want staying in orbit. So 100 tons of exotic. We'll bring along 300 tons of fissile. $100 tons of alloy. 200 tons of electronics. The 10 polymers. Just fill the cargo hold the rest of the way up with glass. Sure. Pelican's gonna have no problem lifting that. Try not to completely drain the Luna reserves, and then we unpause. Ships be flying. Okay, you arrived at Earth orbit. And now I want the Hephaestus to go to Mars, I think. Having multiple ships go to Mars at the same time. Mars definitely has the housing. So I could definitely bring a bunch of people to Mars. Wouldn't be the worst. Okay. Earth orbit to Mars. I'm gonna use the fast dive first to start. I'll have to burn fast if I'm going to bring that much food. Fast and hard. That's a bit close. A bit more fuel. It's a doable mission. Okay, let's back this off a little bit. One way to solve this is to leave 100 people behind. We're gonna have the Prometheus take the 100. Or the 200. Probably make it take 200. You're not gonna let me do that, okay. Okay, we need to put more food on board. There we go. Now we can take an optimal transit. If we do an optimal transit, go. Don't have fuel. And then... oh. Okay. Okay, it's gonna take them 30 months. I got 30 months of food, but I think I've pretty much shipped everyone out of the waiting room. So once the crew modules go, the food should last a little while. And we got transits off to Mercury. Biological machines complete. Earth orbit to Mars done. So I probably want you to do a return trip with the empties at least. And maybe with some food, because the waiting room might need some food after what we just took out of it. And I need the polymers. Okay. Mars, not to Earth, but to Earth orbit. The Prometheus that's currently in orbit. Send 400 polymers. The empty crew compartments. We got 160 tons left of cargo capacity. Let's bring some electronics along. Oh, no. Bring food along. I could use more food in Earth orbit. And we don't make any in orbit. Mars is a decent place that I need to take it from. We're definitely not flying empty. I want to fly a little fast though. Let's run 300 tons of fuel. Here we go. Mercury arrival. So in Mercury orbit, the gases have arrived. So Mercury orbit to Mercury, orbital payload container, deliver nitrogen and oxygen. And then we release those. And then we try to get back to Earth. Mercury to Earth orbit. Flying. I forgot to take it in the Mercury orbit as well. Mercury orbit as well. Definitely can't do a multi-ship transit. Optimal transit. No fuel. Rain to Earth. Both orbits. Give it enough time to realize that it has some gases. Geothermal power turbine complete. I don't think that's buildable in a lot of places, but one of the places I was contemplating it maybe should probably be buildable is Earth. Geological activity on Earth is not. It's too low. This is obviously space geothermal because I imagine there'd be some geological activity on Earth. Io was one of the places where it's doable, although we'd have to get the Io to be more habitable. And I'm also interested that Venus is not classed as habitable or not geothermically active for that case. Planet with one of the bigger volcanoes in the solar system. It's kind of what I'd imagine would be geothermally active, but not in this game apparently. Okay, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time looking for it, but apparently it's a rarer trait than you'd imagine. Next up is remote power transfer. We want the satellite version of that, realistically. And yeah, oxygen effect on Mercury is kicked in. Current habitability is 16%, which means I can land people on Mercury. We're not going to do it right away, but it could be done. We're going to send the robots to build at Mercury first. And I think that, now that I'm looking at the numbers, I'm seeing that we're 7,000 money monthly balance positive. I think that's a good place to put a part break in. We've released the emotional support gas on Mercury, so Mercury can be inhabited. We're gonna set up some production miners there, courtesy of Mars, first. Get some minerals coming from there and get it properly probed first. So we're not gonna go straight there. And the other thing is we're probably gonna wait until we get power sap. So we're looking 3-4 years before it's really kick off Mercury. But yeah. So I suppose that is spoilers, warnings, expectations for next stream. Next stream, we go to where it is hot. We go to Mercury. We maybe even start trying to think about doing things in Venus, which is the opening phases of Venus is suck the atmosphere off of it. Suck that CO2 off, convert it to carbon and oxygen. 81 megatons of CO2 is going to take a while to get off, but it's more doable than trying to drain the gas giants, which I've seen people do. Decent amount of metal on Venus. We're allowed to land on Venus with robots, but not humans. So technically I could send something down here to mine the metal. The metal would be mineable. We can do automated mines to mine Venus. Venus is automated mine only. Mercury will, now that we've released just that smidge of oxygen, Mercury is properly mineable. The unknown resources, we know what they are. They're the hydrogen, or the nitrogen and oxygen we just released. But yeah, so we're going to transfer more people to Mars. As we put more on Mars, we're going to want to do more Martian satellites. We want to do more Earth satellites, because apparently the Earth government is included. The world government is included, so that 8 million people will pay us for satellite uplink. Giving us a pretty hefty source of money. Yeah, and our food in a bunch of places is going to be looking pretty good. Probably overproducing. I'm overproducing probably food. Yeah, we're making 16 tons of food on Earth. The moon's probably overproducing food. Because we've been picking up all the food bonuses recently, right? Going forward, I think it's the food, the cost reductions, the supply costs. Left to do. We've got them queued up, right? So that is, if I can find them when I'm looking for them. Improved atmosphere, so that's decreased supplies, and these are in spacecraft. So this is, I need to bring less food along while we're transiting to places with these two. Artificial hibernation and suspended animation. But yeah, things are going well. I suppose there isn't actually that many mining techs. I did the mining techs already. I was about to say, oh, I should do some more mining techs. We'll go for some of the efficiency on some of the other stuff, so I just don't need as many facilities. Oh, that's construction cost small. That's nice. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. I might start going towards... Yeah, I think things are going well. We're going to get the rest of the sort of supply techs so that we can minimize how much support equipment we need for our people. We'll probably go into carbon release at some point, so we can do CO2 electrolysis. Maybe we do hydrogen power plants at some point. Probably CO2 electrolysis. Well, that's actually a lot of power. That might be tempting. Although right now, most of the places where that would be tempting are also the places I'm doing electrolysis to make hydrogen. So maybe not. And then we'll be wanting to run orbital mirrors, orbital shades. Mirrors to warm places up, shades to cool them down. So, things in the future. And obviously, pretty hefty construction costs on those, but hefty construction costs do not mean we cannot build. We're still trying to get the metal. Although, that's becoming more and more plausible as the time goes on for the planetary magnetosphere generator. So, we may have Mars make enough metal itself during the next stream. But yeah. The goal of this stream was to get the monthly balance positive, and gosh darn, we did. So yeah, with that, I suppose it's time to do the outro. Just a reminder, I am streaming this live to Twitch under the username Wookole, and uploading the local recording to YouTube under the username Wookole100. The background music here is Stellaris, because the game's default background music gets flagged on YouTube. I don't know if it demonetizes videos or if it is actual problem. It just gets flagged. I'm not at a level where I actually generate any revenue on YouTube. I just know it's coming up as a flag. So to avoid copyright issues, I'm not running the background music on any of these videos. The default game background music. We're playing by the house rule, Fission all the way, which means that I'm going to try to do everything with Fission. At least until we run out of the tech tree. Like, if we run out of techs and I want to finish things up, we might at that point give in and do some Fusion. Also, technically, some of the techs we have to use to do things are technically Fusion. I think Interstellar Travel, for example, is Fusion. So we're going to do that because that's how you, at the moment, quote-unquote, win the game. That's Fusion, although that's one thing that we just can't avoid, so that'll get done when that gets done. And then the other one is... Can I find it? There we go. Mass Driver Propulsion. I think the lore in here is that this is because it's behind Fusion Propulsion, this is a Fusion-powered regolith engine. So it technically doesn't take any fuel, but it's implied that this is Fusion-based. Mobile Fusion-powered Mass Driver. Yeah. We'll probably use those when we get to them. Because when we want to move asteroids, that's our option. It's that or the Fusion chip. And the Fusion chip is definitely Fusion. That one is some plausible deniability on our part. But yeah, so with that, let me go over the schedule for the next couple days. So I'm bringing that schedule up in Twitch. So today was Solar Expanse. Tomorrow is going to be Old World. I think we're going to run here Old World. I think we're going to finish that run of Kush. If we finish it within under 2 hours, we're going to do Frostpunk 2 afterwards. If it takes 3 hours, we'll do Terraformers the Red Planet Awaits. If it takes 4 hours, it's the entire stream. Don't worry about it. Saturday is going to be Factorio. Sunday is going to be Shadow Empire. Monday is going to be Solar Expanse. We'll be back doing Solar Expanse on Monday, taking advantage of the fact that we now have positive revenue. And one of the big things from that is I can now go to Earth, sell things, and buy different things without really having to worry about anything. And you might have noticed I have a lot of electronics on Earth, on Mars. Mars, I got a lot of electronics. So if I could drag that back to Earth, that's a lot of money. So I can buy stuff. Granted, the problem with buying and selling stuff on Earth is it's hard to get things off of Earth. But if we get enough hydrogen on Earth, we could sell stuff and buy cheap things like metal. Lots and lots of metal. The future is big. But yeah. Old World tomorrow, Factorio Saturday, Sunday will be Shadow Empire, Monday will be Solar Expanse, Tuesday will be Frostpunk 2, because that's what's going to replace Old World. We're going to do at least one run at Frostpunk 2 so I can get used to the new mechanics, because they've changed up a whole bunch of heating stuff since the last time I played. On a fairly low difficulty, we're going to do. Probably might do the main campaign again as a side effect. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday will be Shadow Empire again? No, Wednesday will be Factorio, then Shadow Empire, then we'll be back to Solar Expanse. The cycle will continue. Same cycle will continue. If you're watching on YouTube or watching on Twitch and you want a comment responded to, feel free to leave them now, especially if you're watching live, so I can try to respond to them before I bring the stream to a close. Obviously, after I finish the YouTube recording, I'm going to do a quick refresh on the chat for people watching on Twitch. If you're watching later on the Twitch VOD or you're watching on YouTube, please try to leave comments on YouTube if you've got any comments. I do try to respond to all the comments on YouTube. I know YouTube, because of how I record, you're about 6 days behind, so I went over the schedule. The schedule was long enough that that should be out into your future. So if you are listening to this and like, oh, I wanted to watch X, it's 7 days out. That's only like 1 day in your future, so that's coming up. Or vice versa. If you wanted to watch something and you missed the stream because the schedule here being talked about is obviously talking about things that would have been recorded in your past as well. If you can't wait for that part to come up on YouTube, because it should be up on YouTube within 6 days of when it was recorded, you can always sneak over to Twitch. The Twitch VODs do stay up for 14 days, so you can watch the Twitch VOD of it being streamed live. The local recording should be being uploaded in 1080p and 60 frames per second. Twitch gets whatever the local internet can support. So, for example, right now the bit rate on this run is actually fairly low. So they're getting basically what I'm seeing, is my understanding, which might actually be higher quality than what's on YouTube. But frequently they're getting worse quality because the bit rate the bit rate for the video would actually be higher than what the internet can support. So they get data compressed and they don't get 1080p. Although I do have it set up to do 60 frames per second, so it should always be 60 frames per second, but it's whether or not it's 1080p or not. What changes? So yeah, with that, I am going to wish everyone the best of luck and a good time. We're going to pick up where we left off next time in 4 days. And apparently I went too long, so the Solaris soundtrack ran out for a second time. So until next time, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time, and bye for now.